Thought I'd make my predictions for Affliction Banned coming up this Saturday. It's July 19th. Yeah, same night as UFN 14. Wonder why? Oh yeah, that's right. Dana's a small business man. Yow. But a mean guy. Really mean. Real small of you, Dana. Really small. Let this new upstart try, at least, to get a good show. Come on. Anyway, let's do my predictions for this. First fight, this is the undercard. Mark Hominick versus Savit Young. Seen Mark fight in UFC. I watched that match where he beat George L. Really good kickboxer guy. I'm gonna pull for him and I think he has it. JJ Ambrose versus Mike Pyle. Gonna go with Pyle here. Pyle's a good fighter, good strong guy. Gonna get it. Ray Lazama versus Justin Levens. Justin Levens was in the UFC for a small time, and he was riding a huge streak, and then he lost to Evan Tanner. It's been like the curse of Evan Tanner ever since, because he's like been on a losing streak and he's been beat down. But I think it's his time to shine again. So Justin Levens, even though he's kind of small for 185, but he's gonna come back. We got Edwin Deweese versus Little Nog, and that is a pretty easy one. I'm gonna go for Little Nog, but Edwin ain't gonna win this. Little Nog, gotta go Little Nog, unless I'm wrong. Then we got this card that's gonna be on this. There's two fights gonna be showed on Fox Sports Network, which is different. It's Fox Sports South or North, I guess. I don't know. I know it's South here because I'm in the South, and that'll show. I think what, 7 or something, or 8. They're gonna show that, and I may check that out. That's a pretty good idea. Give it a little taste of it. So the first one they got is Victor Belfort, big old UFC guy, and then they got Terry Martin, who was also in the UFC recently. Victor Belfort is trying to get back on, the way he was back in the late 90s, where he was a god. And Terry Martin's trying to get a win. And I think the polls have Victor out front, but I'm going to pick Terry Martin. Paul Bunatello versus old UFC guy versus Alexander Emelianenko. I know I pronounced that wrong. That has to be wrong. I never watched. Well, yeah, I've seen his fights in private, but I've never seen him announced to the ring. But Alexander got good reach in this. I think he's may have better boxing. He has the sambo on the ground or to get him down. Alexander has this. Paul is a pretty good striker, but that's about it. So, sorry, Paul. He's a likable guy, but he's not going to win this. Alexander has this. All right, we got the main card now. Babalu Soberall versus Mike Whitehead. I'm the Ultimate Fighter noob, so I saw Mike Whitehead on season 2, and boy, he was awful. I mean, Rashid Evans just walked all over. He was dancing and reversing all over him. It was like a weird breakdancing thing going on. And then later they had him on again, and he lost to Keith Jardine pretty bad. Both decision losses, and they made. I mean, even the winner looked bad in those fights. So I think Babalu's gonna submit him. Even if he racks up, wins on the smaller leagues, there's something missing in that puzzle for Mike Whitehead. They say he puts in the work. He puts in the work. He's a workhorse, they say, or at least Matt Hughes says so. So I'm gonna pick Babalu. Next fight, Matt Lindland versus Fabio Nascimento. Well, already or Fabio. I'm not gonna. That's Matt Lindland. Easy pick. Alright, Josh Barnett versus Pedro Rizzo. I think Rizzo won back in the day against Barnett once. So this is kind of a grudge match, but it's kind of like the same. It's in the same league as when Rampage fought Beastman again, Marvin Eastman, because it's kind of like Barnett's in a slightly higher league now, and he can handle himself and get the Duke here. So he's going to win it. I think. I don't know. Pedro always has the hands. He's a good guy. He's you know, people talk about people fighting well in their older age. Pedro fights well. Still fighting well. Still bringing the heat. So, I'm still going with Josh Barnett, but I'm not going to count Pedro out in this fight. I won't be amazed. I won't be like shocked, like, you know, if Pedro pulls it out. Anything can happen. But Josh Barnett. Andre Arlovski versus Ben Rothwell. It's kind of a hard pick because Rothwell has been finishing people like crazy in the IFL, while Arlovski's been fighting not to lose, as some people put it, since that second Tim Sylvia fight where he got knocked out, and I think it kind of scared him. So it's hard to pick, but you know, people are always they're going towards Andre Arlovski. But again, yeah, I'm gonna pick Andre. But again, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be if Ben pulls it out, because Ben can pull it out, and I think he has the power, of course, to knock Arlovski out. But I think Arlovski can make this more like a technical fight, like he has been. Keep it going, you know, pick his shots and kind of dance around for a while. So I got Andre in this one. And your main event, your big daddy main event, it's Fedor and Emelianenko. Possibly the greatest fighter ever to fight versus Tim Sylvia. It's kind of a funny pairing, you know. People wanted to see. I know Randy Couture wanted to fight Fedor. That was the big thing. That's part of why he left the UFC. But we're getting this instead. Tim Sylvia, someone who Randy Couture beat, versus Fedor and Emelianenko. And that will kill that match if Sylvia wins this. But I don't think Sylvia's going to win this. And actually, Sylvia kind of plays into what Fedor does best, is he loves to armbar. And Tim has these long-ass arms that can get caught so easily, and he's real slow with them, and throws them like they have, you know, it's like a chain with a bowling ball in it, and it goes loose in the middle, and I don't know, it's like candy. The Fedor loves it. So I think Fedor is going to win this, but oh man, it would upset all that is holy in the MMA world if Tim picked it, if Tim took it. Which anything can happen in a way. We know this. But look for Fedor to win, hopefully. Or, you know, I like a little chaos. Let Tim win. Let the shit hit the fan and everyone go crazy and rankings be screwed up for years. It's like, who would be number one then? Would it be Nog? Big Nog? The UFC would have number one fighter again, I think. Tim won. Or is Randy still? He hasn't fought recently. I'm going to have to give that nod to Nog. So, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to have Nog. I mean, that's one of the upsides of Fedor possibly losing in this match, is Nog getting the kind of credit he has been, you know, foreshadowed for so long. So that's cool. But I think Fedor takes it. It's a good card. A lot of good names here. It's kind of funny. They have guys that the UFC can't afford or won't afford, right? With Josh Barnett, Fedor, Tim Sylvia, Ben Rothwell, Andre Arlovski. You know, these guys that are good heavyweight fighters that slip through the cracks of the UFC, and they've gotten these guys and they got them fighting. But then they also have the other side of that spectrum, the guys that couldn't cut in the UFC, you know, aren't there no more. Victor Belfort, Terry Martin, Paul Bunatello, Edwin Deweese. These are guys that fought there and really couldn't hang. So it's kind of a weird, you know, balance. You can't have too many of those guys, you know, in there, or people are going to say, well, you're below the UFC. But they got a good card. This is a good card. The matches are kind of lopsided sometimes in here. some of these. I mean, not all of them. I wish, why didn't they do Matt Lindland versus Little Nog? That would have been a good match. You know, just little things like that where they could have paired different people up. I'm looking here. Ugh. Just some of the pair-ups are weird. You know, why not do Josh Barnett versus Fedor? I know a lot of people thought that Josh Barnett was the guy that could beat Fedor. They're not doing that match. No, they're going to do. And they could have done been Rothwell versus Tim Sylvia and done Andre Arlovski versus Pedro Rizzo. That would have been awesome. That would have shown a lot. But they didn't do that. So, should be a good card. Watch it if you can afford it. Enjoy it. Later, alligator.